Hello, colleagues. Welcome to Salesforce United Community Tech Talk. Today, we are going to discuss with you how to pass Salesforce CPQ certification successfully. And our guest, Vikas Pandey, will share his valuable pieces of advice, some tips how to pass the certification successfully. And trust me, it will be very valuable for you since Vikas has already passed more than a dozen of certificates. So the meeting will be, as usual, recorded. And of course, you will have a chance to address all your questions that you have, and Vikas will respond to all of them. So use the chat, which is on the right side of your screen. Vikas, I'm ready to pass my words to you.
Thank you, Shasha. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, guys, wherever you are based. Thank you for joining this chat. Um, Today, I'm going to discuss with you how to propel your professional career by passing one of the key certificates, which is industry CPQ. We all know Salesforce starts with the word sales, and sales needs products. And with everything growing around, um, we need to solve the complexity of these products within Salesforce. And industry CPQ is one of those products by Salesforce that helps individuals, professionals, and enterprises to solve this complex problem. What I'll do is I'll start presenting my screen that would showcase to you. I've got some slides ready that would be presented to you, which will show the path which you're going to take. The aim of this chat today is not to provide any dumps. It is to help you to improve your knowledge on industry CPQ and plan your journey to pass this certificate. And when put on a project, you should be able to leverage this knowledge. You should have a ready toolkit which you can reference at any point in time to then deliver value to your client, to your business, or wherever you are working at the moment. If you can see my slides, could you please give me a quick plus, guys? Okay. All right, let me try sharing again. Let me stop the screen share and present again to you. Well, that's what happens when in the last minute things don't get loaded. Maybe it's coming. Okay, so basically what we are going to talk about today is, I think you can see my screen now. Okay, amazing, great. So I'll try to give you a brief introduction about myself. I have more than 22 years of experience and close to 10 plus years of experience in Salesforce. I've worked across multiple domains like finance, transport, manufacturing, services, oil and gas, telecommunications, and everywhere there is complexity around products. There are no simple products which are available. And with standard Salesforce product model, there is always a challenge to solve how the opportunities would be created. And when I looked at industry CPQ, well, there is normal CPQ as well, but when I looked at industry CPQ, it does offer that granularity and the ability to configure complex products and journeys and make it easier for the clients and businesses. Now you can see I've got loads of certificates. Um, we all want certificates. There's always a debate around what is better, people who are certified or people who are not certified. I believe it should be a mix. You should be able to leverage the knowledge of your certification onto the job and vice versa. So it's the chicken and egg situation, but it is beneficial to have certificate because it shows you have the knowledge. And if you have the knowledge through the right path, then you are able to do the right implementation. And this is the reason for the call today, that we want to showcase to you how you can gather the right knowledge following a defined path and trying to put you on an accelerator so that you can pass your certification. Now, so we'll quickly discuss like what are we going to get out of this talk: the benefits, the where, the how, the what, when. At the end of it, I will also give you some key takeaways and revision tips. You will be able to download all the links to the paths and applications I'll go to, and I'll also try to provide some of my revision points which I have, so that you have something handy too. So when you go away from this chat today, you would be properly equipped to start your journey to get industry CPQ certified, and not only certified, but be confident when you're sitting in front of your clients or your business or in front of your C-level executives while trying to tell them why industry CPQ is the key. What you will not get is detailed training. I'm not going through trying to train you on each and everything. That's not possible. It is a huge subject. It is a huge area to learn. And this chat in no way is going to solve your problems. Okay. So let's look at the significance of the CPQ certification. Why you should get this certification done. So the business you're working for, the enterprises you're working for, it streamlines their sales process. It makes it easier. There are quick codes. You have configured bundles. It eliminates errors. If there are dependencies between products, or there is a discount you should offer or something you should know, then CPQ propels you to do that. We all know, if we go to means I go to Sky a lot, or I go to Virgin Media, or try to get a phone from somewhere, and we expect that basically they will know what is the offer we are talking about, and they will be able to offer us that particular offer or even something better. And with industry CPQ, you do get that ability. It improves the customer satisfaction, because if you have configured things right, it will increase the sales efficiency again. Because imagine you're buying a phone and then you have a data and somebody asks you a question like, oh, do you travel a lot? Would you want an add-on in terms of roaming? And you say, yeah. And if I could just quickly find an added, wow, your customer's happy. And if you're giving a discount, even better. Enhances revenue and profits. That's for the enterprise, right? It's a huge benefit for an enterprise, because you are able to not only sell, but upsell as well. And for the executives who look forward to analytics and reporting and forecasting, this is amazing, because you can now have reports for very complex offerings. It is scalable and it is compliant. So a lot of focus is these days around, okay, how can we scale by being granular, and how can we make sure that we are able to focus on the small things? Well, industry CPQ does offer you that capability. So that's for the enterprise. But again, people ask questions like, what's in it for me? So for you, this is high in demand, and there are very few certified individuals on industry CPQ. And that's the reason why I picked up this cert, that if we can get more professionals like us who have the right set of knowledge, right toolkit, then we can help them advance your career. You get the comprehensive understanding of this. Your skill set improves, and basically you become part of an exclusive community. It means, well, we are part of Salesforce. Being a part of a Salesforce ecosystem, you're already into an exclusive niche community. And then if you imagine industry CPQ, wow, it takes you further. It's very much in demand skill set, and this is going to help. So, by providing you with the benefits, how many of you think you will take the industry CPQ certification? And if you do, please add a plus to the chat. Right. I'll keep on moving. So most of the people say, okay, fine, Vikas, you've talked about the industry CPQ. I'm in. Where do I need to go? Where do I start? What? So first bit, which I recommend, is that you provision yourself an industry CPQ instance. Look at the Salesforce help and support documentation. Look at your things like enterprise product catalog, industry CPQ, help and support, and then your career path as an industry cloud CPQ developer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to present to you a screen where you would see this path very clearly. Um, if you see my screen right now, you would see that there is a journey for a cloud communications developer, which is for communications industry. And one of the key points is industries CPQ along the path. If you know Omni Studio, it is really beneficial for you on your journey to be industry CPQ certified. You can see that once you come to this tab, and don't worry about the link, guys, you don't have to worry about taking any link or anything. I will provide you with a QR code at the end, which you can scan and download all these links. So if you see in the industry CPQ, you come to the get trained area, and there is self-paced build industry solutions, CPQ solutions for industries. This is your key area. This is one page you want to keep handy, because you could see here you have all the available resources. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and clicked a couple of these items to showcase it to you further. Where do you go? So if you get on here, supposedly you were here and I clicked on the order capture, you will come to the order capture trail mix. Important bit is to come to this first link, which is about the order capture using industry CPQ. And then you will start with your hands-on exercises. I recommend when you come to this page, you download your order capture exercises. And also, you see there's a request a training playground. So you could request a training playground for yourself. And what I've done is I've already opened up this link for you, what you need to provide to get an org that is configured in such a way that will help you get the data and the details around industry CPQ. Again, don't worry, all these links are provided. Now, I also want to show to you how the hands-on exercises look. So we were at the order capture. You could see there is enough details around these hands-on exercises. They give you few items in terms of what you should learn, and there is lots of hands-on exercises which are then presented. What I do, I use these hands-on exercises in tandem with the trail mix, which is there. Now, again, that trail mix is not normally available, but you have to go to that link and you could see what it is. So again, I go back to this one. And if you want to click any, supposedly enterprise product catalog or pricing, let's click pricing and let's show what happens. So you go to your pricing trail mix in Salesforce, then you click about the industry CPQ pricing course, download your hands-on guide, and when you click this, supposedly industry CPQ pricing, what happens? So firsthand, you have already got your hands-on guide. What happens now when you click your start course, and this is not on your trailhead platform, this is Rise platform which you use, and then you could see what kind of challenges, their embedded videos and all the trainings which are there which you complete. Once you've completed, then you move on to your next bit, assigning prices to product, how you go about pricing bundles. So you have all these important learnings which you have to complete to be on top of the learning process and getting your industry CPQ certification. Um, If you ask me, is any of them more important than others? I personally think all of them are important, but if you have to keep your eyes open for pricings, promotions and discounts, guided sellings and advanced rules and context rules, attribute based pricing, which is advanced pricing, and product catalog is. Um, I thought it was easier when I was going through them, and I learned them pretty quickly. So hope that helps you understanding in terms of where you could go to get all the learning materials and enhance your toolkit, not only just for um, passing the certification, but going ahead and implementing this at a client site or for your business. One of the examples, like I'd like to show in the guided selling, which you will see, a lot of time people say, why should I do hands-on? Well, you go at a client side and you try to do an implementation straight away. Let me go further up quickly for you so that you could see, because you get important things here. You could see on my screen, how would you add domain URL to CSP trusted sites? Some of the time you don't do the first steps or base steps, and if you have done this hands-on guide, then you know what you need to do. If you're at a client site, even if you don't want to pass your certificate, you could go ahead and keep this handy, and if you need to set something up, then you could quickly go ahead and reference this material and enhance on this knowledge to deliver something of value for your clients and for yourself as well. Means you are then confident, you know, okay, I can tackle if some situation like this um, arises. So this is one of the important things to keep handy for yourself. um, Again, um, the key part is that console where you have the path panned out for an in communications cloud developer. Important bit out of that is your industry cloud developer. I hope the where of it is clear. If it is clear to you, a plus again, Freddie, Chris, Ivan, anyone who would like to say, or anyone else who understands um, that this is understood. If you want more information, or if you want me to repeat anything now, I can do it. Okay, I will move further. So then the question is, how do I go ahead and uh, pursue this certifications? So let me go ahead and move to the next slide. Okay, amazing. So how to learn? How did I learn? So what did I do? I decided on a timeline. So I said, okay, normally, as you all know, I work for EPAM, and within anyone who works for an SI knows that we are all allocated to projects. Wherever you are means you have to try to be working on a project. And while you're working on a project on your day-to-day activities, you get very little time to study and to manage things in between, and it could be difficult. So the key is to make a realistic agreement with yourself, because on the Salesforce might say it will only take 80 hours, and somebody might say, okay, 80 hours I can do in 2 weeks, but you have to decide, can you, with your current engagements and the timelines you put on the project. So I decided 2 months I will give to myself to learn industry CPQ. I have had prior experience of industry CPQ before this. Means I did not get the certification, but there was a business which I worked for. Um, One of the another things which I did as part of my learning process, I separated time. So probably 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening. What I learned in the morning, I revised in the evening, or the other way around. I never said that, okay, I've learned it, next topic. Unless I have revised it, I did not move forward. So twice, yeah. Um, Again, I think I've emphasized it enough. Always choose a hands-on approach first, because if you do not do the hands-on, you will not understand the theory of it. And if you have not been on a project before, then it's going to be much more difficult. So first thing first, that's why I said make sure that you provision yourself an industry CPQ org, and also get those hands-on guides handy to yourself so that you could work through them. I actually did them twice. Again, Another important thing which I do, if I don't understand something, a lot of time you've got so many things going on, you don't understand. I write those things down. It's doing nothing. What it does is it just puts in my brain. There was something which I didn't understand, and while you're writing something down, if it was the way it was written down while you're writing down, it registers into your brain better, and you start thinking about it and could understand it. Um, Again, same thing. Take notes of the items you don't understand. It's always recommended. If you don't understand, write it down for sure. And another thing which I did or I do when I'm doing my hands-on exercise is deliberately take a wrong step. It gives me two things. One, I might come across a way of doing the same thing in a different way. Or second, if the thing goes wrong, then I know how to debug it. Probably I'll find it, or maybe I get frustrated for some long time if I've not been able to find and know, okay, you have to do this in this way only, otherwise it was not going to work. So it does help you. And when you are at a client side and basically sitting down and trying to think how you will approach, you will know some of the best practices which you have already seen. So this is how I learned the using the materials which was provided in the previous wear of it. So now we're going to yeah, this is important bit. Like, look, guys, honestly, there you can learn from flashcards. I know internet is full of dumps, and people will say, "Hey, uh, do it and get over the certification line." Of course, you can get over the certification line, but when you sit in front of a client, a business, or in your interview, you know that the person is going to ask you questions where you can't fool them, or you might be able to get across away for a couple of days, but in the end, you have to deliver. So my recommendation always is to follow the tough path, do the hands-on, learn it through, prepare your toolkit. Nobody knows it all. That keep that toolkit handy. Be ready to search within your toolkit. So the difference between searching on Google and having the toolkit ready is if somebody asks you a question, you have one click less, which is more, because you can open up quickly, expand an item and say, hey, this is where it is. Let me go and quickly try, and we are able to help. So that's my recommendation. But yeah, yeah, and you're right. That's the best way to learn is basically do a hands-on project and learn it that way. Right. So let's look at the what. What are the important things which you should look at? So what I've done, I didn't want you to go away without looking at a Salesforce org. I wanted to, as I said, accelerate some of the things which you can understand, uh, show some items, and give you a look and feel of it. So what I'm sharing now with you is one of the demo orgs which I have got provisioned using the link. And in the link, you could see there are, if you have been on a Salesforce org before, you can go to the here on the app manager, and you can see various apps that are there. Important apps as part of the industry CPQ part is CME admin, configure price code, and digital interaction platform. So these three will keep you will be the most used during your learning process. Um, Here you could see I've opened up the configure price and code um, tab app, and in that I have opened up orders. Now, what I wanted to show to you was a Vlocity card. So let me open up the order page and record page, and it is here. So a lot of time it will you'll come here and say, okay, launch the Vlocity cart, and you will be like, what? Where do I launch the cart from? Where do I go? Well, no, this is here. This is the OmniScript action. You come and say configure order. And for me, first time, it took me some time when I was learning. I was like, where do I go ahead and how am I launching this cart? There's no launching cart action, but this is how you launch the cart. And you go ahead and you set up the order. You could see this is very uh, intuitive UI. On this cart, you could see what is available, what the customer is qualified for, what is not available. You could see all the products, promotions, and discounts that are available to this customer. And you could go ahead and, let's change the basic pricing of the item, and then you could go ahead and add, let's go to qualified products, which we can add to the cart. And here, one of the key things is you could see this eye. When you click it, it lets you configure your order as per the line item details. And you are able to configure your runtime attributes or which are required. Supposedly, if somebody is buying an Apple iPhone and there are 5 different colors that are available, then you could use this area to configure. Okay, let me try. Okay, so you can submit the orders from the orders tab or from the accounts. So if I go to accounts, and if I can click Acme again, and then again you could see, go details or related. What can I help you? You can have a submit order, or if you look at another thing, which I wanted to show you, there is service assets which are there. You could select a service asset and you could do the MACD, that is move, add, change, or delete orders, and which is important thing which you get with your industry's CPQ. So let's look at, so when I select an item, then I could go ahead and do those changes. It is recommended that, again, these are all part of your hands-on exercise, and if you follow the right path, then you will be able to see how these items get changed, how the new orders are being created, and these are important things, and probably comes in exam. um, and it also helps you to go ahead and think from the customer point of view. Your customer might not be selling Apple iPhone, but if your customer is selling steel bars, your steel bars might have a property associated with this, which is the thickness of it, which is the length of it, or which is the quality of steel with the various composition. Or if they're selling a car, then similarly with a car, whether they want full accessory, half accessory, whether they want chrome rims, or they want different set of tires, or they want a different color or metallic, you can open up, because now you know how one thing is done, so how other things could be done. Right. Another important area which I've already opened up is in the CME admin app, which I showed, is your Vlocity CMT administration. Couple of items there. So you have your CPQ configuration set up here, which I will recommend that you learn. There are various names of the attributes of the configuration and what values they have. Simple things like, which I've kept at the bottom, uh, is the API caching happening? True. Do you control product to fields during creation? Is false. You can see to live in days and all these important items which are here. So I recommend that you have a good look of this area when you're learning. Another important area is enable features. So if you have to enable any features like loyalty, multi-language catalog support, cost and margin, or future dated auto queue, this is your area to come to. Yeah, this is your area where you will come and you will. So what is loyalty? So I'll give you an example. If somebody is in UK, they'll probably get it more. We have a supermarket called Tesco's. When you go and shop at Tesco's and you use your club card, you get your loyalty points. With loyalty being enabled, what can happen that you can use loyalty to pay. If I'm a customer who is buying an item, supposedly apple juice, and if I have enough loyalty points, I can use loyalty to pay in full or part of that item along with the normal card or any other kind of payment that is enabled. Similarly, multi-language catalog support, there are limitations around it. I will recommend that you read through. As I said, this is not the training exercise, so I wouldn't go there. Another important bit, which is here, is the maintenance job. You will have questions around maintenance jobs, that's for sure, because it is important. Whenever you make changes to the products or products related data in Salesforce, you have to run these maintenance job, product hierarchy maintenance, clear manage platform cache, and refresh platform cache. And then what you have to do, you don't have to run product hierarchy maintenance job every time, because if you're not changing items in the product hierarchy, then you don't need to. But you might need to run clear manage platform cache and refresh platform cache, and you need to see when you need to do that, and that all information is provided in the documentation which I have provided to you. Similarly, another important area is interface implementations. So what is an interface implementation? It is just the way of going ahead and looking at all the logic that is being used. There is one CPQ Global Handler class, which is using all these interfaces to then leverage the logic which is running the CPQ card. You can use the normal logic, or you can, when I say normal, out of the box logic, or you can use the custom logic written by you. There are some important interfaces which you have to keep in mind. The create cart interface, you have to look at the pricing plan interface, if you can see it. Hey, which is here, the pricing interface. So let's click at one of the interface and see what happens there. You get the different implementation. The default implementation does nothing. So you don't have to look at the default implementation. You look at the other implementations, which are like pricing plan service, pricing rules implementation, and pricing element service implementation. Each of this implementation offers a specific way how and what actions CPQ engine will take to once the products are added to the cart in terms of pricing. So very key area is the CME admin. Next important area on the CPQ side is the Vlocity product console. So this is where all the magic happens. This is where you define all your products, your price list, your pricing plan, your time plan, your time policy. So this console is a key bet in terms of putting things through. So let's quickly look at, if you want to search for a product, click here. I just want to search everything, and you could see this is the 3G. Let's click on the product, and you could see different facets which are attached to this product. So this is a 3G data plan. You could see the general properties which are part of this product. This product is not assetizable. It is the not assetizable is not checked. So basically this will turn into an asset. Then you have your attribute properties. So these are your runtime attributes, and these are the various things you could select. So when you go ahead and basically set up or select this option on the CPQ card, which we just saw moments ago, it will ask you from that I button, the configure button, what data plan do you want? So do you want 3 GB, 6 GB, 10 GB, 16 GB, or unlimited? And you define it here. And when on the card somebody configures the product, they can see how they go about it. Then you have your attributes and fields which are here. So you have your attribute and field. What is the difference between the attribute and field? You use field for something which is common across product, but you use attributes which are individually assigned to the product. Okay. Then we go to your product structure, pricing, context rules. You can set up, you can add your context rules. Remember, for context rule, you never add the individual rule by itself, but you always add the rule set. And you can go ahead and do the layout management of how the product looks. You can do it inherits this layout from the product type you have chosen. Okay, so you see the product object type is data plan product spec. So there is a lot with each and everything. Then we go back to dashboard, and you could see the pricing plan. And let me show pricing plan as well, because this is again very important. If you're doing attribute-based planning, or you're introducing any hooks, then you need to know your pricing plan steps. For attribute-based pricing, your steps need to come before you initialize the pricing context. And the reason why these sequences are at 10, 20, 30 is so that if you have to introduce a sequence in between here, you can call it 11 or 15, knowing that there is more things which is coming after or before that. Right. Again, you have your rules, which is your context rules. And in what Salesforce recommends that you use context rules. It is a very important area to learn why to use context rules, why and where to use advanced rules. And you will have basically one thing is important: when in cart, the price is being calculated. Salesforce uses both the rules together. So it is not that it will, if you have used a context rule and an advanced rule, it will ignore one. No, it will take both of them together and then give you the output based on those rules, howsoever the calculation is. You again, you could see that you could set up discounts, you could set up promotions, you could have your price list, you can have your pricing variables. So I wanted to show you quickly a pricing variable as well, so you understand how the pricing variable works. So you could see this is one time standard price total variable, and people are like, what does that mean? So it is just offering a way to bill your customer how the product should be charged. So if supposedly your business charges a lot of one time standard variable, you could set up this here, or they are recurring, you could set it up here. And then you could again go ahead and look at basically various pricing. Where it's gone, we go into the price list, and let me search the price list for you. If I go to the B2B price list and I choose one of the price list entries, then you could see various products that are being part of this price list and pricing elements for this particular product. So if I go ahead and do a new, you remember it asks me the charge type is recurring, or I can say one time, and the subtype is standard. And if I search, then it offers me one time standard price, which I just showed to you, effective one time standard price. And you could set up a charge. Now, this charge is not set up against any product. You can pick up this charge, pick up a product, add it together, and make it as your price list entry. So it offers you that granularity to set up everything at that level. You can go to the price list entry. Let me click it. Okay, where is going? And then you can look at the context rules which are there. You can add your context rules from here as well. So there, it really offers you a lot of power and a lot of items to be there. So this is how you set up products. And if you have made any changes, I always recommend to go ahead and run those maintenance jobs. Remember not to run product hierarchy maintenance jobs for things which are not required. Then there is the digital interaction or digital commerce side of things. So digital commerce cart works very nicely with a web app which is external completely and integrates with that, or with your experience cloud site which you have. So basically there are two key things which you have to see, and these are just samples. In your real world, you will make something based out of this. If you learn it properly, you will get the idea of what it is. So these two, which is one is DC, which is digital commerce lightning web component, which offers you certain steps. These are important to learn. The questions will be asked around why do you use DC offers list lightning component, or what does it call, what does it add, how the child catalogs are added, how do you configure an offer, what is a shopping cart. And then you see the last bit, which is this digital commerce LWC checkout one. This is another component which is here. Digital commerce LWC checkout, what does fetch account details do? It brings the account details, the customer sets value, looks at the billing address, takes the payments, reviews the orders, and submit the order. And then it will ask you about the persistent cart as well. So it is important that you learn about the persistent cart, which is a lightweight cart, which can be used again with your LWC. So I think, Chris, that answers your question, that how you set up cart on your LWC designer for the digital commerce. So yeah, I wanted to give you a flavor in terms of how the hands-on org looks. What are the key areas you should focus on when you go into that org? You don't spend a day or two trying to figure things out, and basically quickly proceed with the learning yourself. And now you know, if okay, I have to go ahead and look at the cart, what the hands-on guide is talking about, because those were some of the points which took me time to get on with and come to understanding about. So yeah, means you saw CPQ admin console, Velocity product console, product discounts, promotions, pricing plan and interface, launch a cart, configure products in a cart, digital commerce, OmniScript and their components which were part of there. So when should you then give? So we've done all the where, how, what. So when should you give your CPQ certification? Well, I say you know when you're ready. Okay, read the materials twice, complete all the hands-on exercise. My focus throughout this has been the hands-on exercise. If you do not do hands-on exercises, you might pass your exam, but the failure would be in front of the client, or some of the important meeting where somebody would ask you a question and you might not understand whether CPQ, industry CPQ, is capable of providing that out of the box, or what amount of customization is required. Because remember, one of the key things which is expected out of us as an architects, developers, consultants, analysts is to be able to estimate. And we all know that there could be some variances in estimates, but we don't also want to have a huge variance in the estimate. So by doing this, you will also be able to estimate the work items very fast. So keep that in mind. You'll be able to create some products and bundles on your own. As I said, Apple iPhone was an example, but you could create a car for yourself. You think yourself as a car dealer, or um, think yourself as Sky. You're working for Sky and try to configure a package which they sold to you last time to see how that package will be configured. Um, Again, as I said, when you're ready. Nobody has to tell you that. So um, that's the key. And again, have close to 200 to 300 pointers for revision written down. I had my pointers. What I have done is, as part of this meeting, I have brought those pointers. And what we'll do at some point is convert them into PDF so it could be distributed to you, so that you have those pointers handy too. Um, and yeah, and that's how basically it'll work. So I wanted to give you some key takeaways. There are lots of videos, people who talk about how to do it. This is me. How I do it is no shortcut to learning. Hands-on is the key. If you don't do hands-on, I've reiterated this multiple times, there is no shortcut to success in this case. But if you know industry CPQ, whether you're working in your organization as a permanent employee or a contractor or anyone, you have set yourself on a path to success. Um, Consolidate, work smart but hard. Revise. Do not leave revision. It is key for your success. Keep the links and workbooks handy. We have included a QR code which you will soon get to be able to then get those links handy for yourself. Um, Biggest thing, don't delay exam for long post you're ready. If you are not on a CPQ project and you delay your exam, all the learning you would do would just go away. I recommend to go back every so often to your demo org, and that's why I keep my demo org handy, so that the things which I'm not in touch of, and we all know we might get a CPQ project today, but might have an analytics project tomorrow, or might have a FSL project day after, but we need to be still on top of the basics so that we know where we are if time comes again. This is the QR code which you can scan on your screen and basically download all the links. Let me know with a plus if you have done it, or once you are happy for me to move to the next slide. Yeah. And there is a link which is provided on the chat as well. You can go on to that link and you can get those materials there as well. Okay, so we'll move to Q&A session, but before that I wanted to show you the key points that I have mentioned here, and basically which you can leverage as part of your learning as well. So do hands-on, and then I've created all my points which I wrote down while I was learning will be available to you as well as part of the thing. So yeah, so now I'm open for questions and answers, guys.
Thank you, Vikas, so much for your presentation, and for your profound knowledge that you're designed not only for people to pass the certification, but also to get very great knowledge. We have one question So guys, don't hesitate to add the rest of the questions if you have left. And the question is, are Salesforce not recommending for us LWC product designer?
This so I answered Chris. I think so. And Chris said yes.
Hmm.
So I think from the cart side, I think the more question is around cart. How do you get the products in the cart? Um, which is using the digital commerce LWC component, which you will use on the Experience Cloud side pages or your web application pages to then configure products. But to set up products itself, you would be using um, the Velocity product console, if that helps. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions?
Yes, just let us know if you have any other questions. Just I want to remind once again that the session will be on YouTube, and we will also publish all the appendix material that Vikas just shared at the end, his notes, also separately in the article, so you will have time to look through and maybe grasp something important for yourself. And yeah. Um, all right, just we have very great comments for with the gratitude for Vika's presentation. I think that if there are no more questions, then we can finish for today. But it was very inspiring because at least I I am, and maybe I need to try to take my first certification. Okay, we have a question. In my experience, products often require code to be written in the name of the tool. Is that your experience as well?
In the pricing plan helper class, I have not gone ahead and written a custom pricing plan helper class, Chris. But yes, if your product code are not exact and written correctly, if you have not used underscores or if you have used a space, you will not render your product on the cart using the pricing plan helper class. So they are the key when you set up a product.
Okay, thank you, Vikas. Um, okay, no more questions left. Then let's finish. Thank you once again. Uh, one more question, Vikas. Would you recommend functional consultant to go for this exam?
Yes, I think whether it is a functional consultant or whether it is a developer, both should go for this exam, because if you are sitting in a workshop or in a brainstorming session with your client or whiteboarding during one of your workshops, it does help you in thinking how you can define the product structure, because the key of industry's CPQ is not only the power it offers but also the structure of the products. And as a consultant, you should be able to understand the complexity of the customers products and be able to then translate in your mind whether it is technically possible and be able to present to them the options during your conversation. So it really does help. Plus, when you take it to your developers or you take it to your business analyst or architects, then you know that you're talking something which can happen and avoids unnecessary delays or people going around in circles trying to answer one question.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
Thank you, Freddie.
Mhm. Okay. I don't see any, but maybe there will be some other questions. Okay, guys, if you have any questions left, just feel free to add them in the comment section to the video, and we'll respond to them afterwards. Um, yep, and in general, thank you for your questions, and Vikas for your presentation.
No
And
problem. Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you for coming. And yeah, guys, don't forget to join our channels to follow the future events and podcasts and talks. Or if you want to take part in the future events, also let us know.
Thank you very
Okay,
much, guys. Take care. Bye bye.
okay, guys, bye bye.